yo, listen, whatever happens on the outside, whatever happens in the external world, make sure you don't take it as personally and seriously as it seems, because honestly, it's not as serious as it seems. Whatever you're seeing on the outside, whatever I'm seeing right on the outside, it's not actually aimed at me. It's not actually aimed to make me feel insecure. It's to make me feel some sort of way. It's just that how I'm perceiving that thing is making me feel that way, right? And to give you an example of this, let's say someone just calls me stupid, for example. Let's say I'm walking down that road, right? Let's say I'm just walking down there and I see someone and they just look at me and just call me stupid. It's not that I'm stupid. It says more about them than me, right? And so whatever you're doing in your real life activities, whatever you do, don't take things personally, because you got to realize that you are not the ego that you're identifying with. Whatever you say you are is all an illusion. You say, oh yeah, I'm an athlete, I'm a person that does this, I'm this type of person, I like to eat this type of food. That is all an illusion. That is all illusory. When you say I am that, you're basically identifying with something that is worldly, right? And the difference between this is that when you identify with something worldly, you try to become attached to the worldly things, and once that thing is gone, your level of consciousness decreases. So when you don't really have the thing that you wanted, or when something that you don't want happens, you kind of get closed off. You repel yourself from that situation. But what I want you to understand is, in order to receive, you need to be open. And especially when things are hard, when times are hard, when, let's say, life is getting tough and something like that, like everything's getting tougher, it's not the time to really close off and guard yourself, right? Because yeah, of course we need to guard ourselves, especially when there's physical danger. But when times are tough, just know that this time is tough, so the next time will be better, and the next time will be tough, next time will be better. So it's all about the cycle of life. It's just about the ebbs and flows that are going on in life. It's nothing to take it so personally, so seriously, because you got to understand that you are not you. You who say you are you is merely an observer that is observing everything in reality, without really these identifications and ego labels that you put on yourself, right? Before you place these labels on yourself, I want you to understand this. You are not really the thing that you say you are. You are merely someone outside identifying with those things. You are merely an observer of this life, rather than someone who actively takes part and does everything, and when something doesn't go their way, they're sad all of a sudden, right? You are not that person. If you keep identifying as yourself as that person that is suffering, you will suffer. But if you see yourself as, oh, this person is suffering, right? You see yourself in third person. Let's say you're playing GTA. You don't really take things seriously, do you? Let's say you're playing a video game, right? And someone calls your character. Let's say you just call them, oh, you look ugly or something like that. You're not really taking and saying, oh man, why did they call me ugly? Why am I like this? You're not really gonna say that, because you understand that you are not the character that is in the game. You are just the player that is controlling the character, right? So why don't you play the game as a player controlling the character, rather than you being you? You're the player and the character, and you're going about life like this. It's not at all sustainable to live like this, because if you keep living like this, if you take things to a level which you're not supposed to take, you're going to live this life in a sort of a low level consciousness. And what we know about low level consciousness, I'm just going to put up a chart by Dr. David Hawkins on the screen. What we know by that is that if you live in low level consciousness, you will see that your energy is more of wanting. Your energy is more of, oh, I need that thing, I want that thing. It's more closed off. And when you're closed off, you're not able to receive whatever God's put in your way, right? And that brings me to my second point as well. Just because things are not going your way doesn't mean things are not going your way in the long run, right? Because I used to get worried by this thing where, let's say I'm making videos on this channel, right? And I post 2 videos and, oh, they're not really getting any views. Like, what's going on? I'm saying, like, I'm just doing my own, I'm just mimicking myself. But let's say, oh, I'm not getting views. What's going on? But in the long run, I see that it's been going like this. But in the long, it's not something like I'm the bad person in this being happening. It's just that it takes time and it takes ebbs and flows to happen, right? And just because things are not going your way doesn't mean that things in the long run are not going your way, right? So you got to understand that just because you're going through a tough time right now doesn't mean that times will be tough all the time, because life is ebbs and flows. What if you're just at the bottom of wherever you are, and then from now on the times will be good, but then you got to understand that times will be bad? But ultimately, you are not the person that is in these good times or these bad times. You are merely an observer. You're merely a witness to these good times and bad times. You are not someone who is, oh yeah, I'm here in order to see what is going on and yeah, cool. You are not someone who is in the good times or bad times. You are just merely observing the person who identifies with the good time or the bad time, right? And so what I want you to understand from this video, what the main takeaway is, that you are independent of whatever is going on. You are independent of that. You're only defined by your situation you're going through right now if you allow yourself to be. If you allow yourself to be identified with whatever you're going on, you will emit the level of vibration, you will emit the level of consciousness, and you will become that sort of person. You will attract those sort of scenarios to you. And so in order to rise in levels of consciousness, I've made a full in-depth guide, the link will be in the description. And with that being said, honestly, you don't need to identify yourself as anything on the outside. Just know that you are, like I am. And I'm not saying this in a meditation sort of way, but I'm just saying it in a normal sense, right? You don't need to identify yourself with anything in the external world, because everything material is transient. This tree, one day this shit will be broken down, right? This body will not be here one day. This body will not be in existence every single time, but what will remain in existence is the spirit, is the soul that will stay. So purify the soul instead of focusing on the body so much, and eventually you'll see that life is much more than being a slave to your mind, right? And so thank you for watching this video. I hope you gained some value from this. If you did, let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.